Well, old computers and other electronic equipment are creating heaps of e-waste in landfills around the world. It's a growing problem affecting a number of developing nations where cheap electronic equipment can, in many ways, provide a lifeline to those living in poverty. Now, in Nigeria, the demand for electronic equipment is increasing. But what happens to this equipment at the end of its life is now coming under the microscope. Now, we leave you with this report. Thanks for watching WION's Climate Tracker.
Nigeria, like many other developing countries, is experiencing a significant increase in e-waste due to the growing use of electronic devices and a growing middle class. Despite waste management becoming a global business, more than half of the world's population still have little option but to use landfills for the disposal of e-waste. According to a report released by the United Nations Environment Programme, up to 90% of the world's electronic waste, worth nearly $19 billion, is illegally traded or dumped each year. Propac West Africa reports that Africa is one of the world's leading destinations for large-scale shipments of electronic waste from the United States and Europe. In West Africa, Ghana and Nigeria are major recipients of this waste. But high volumes also go to Côte d'Ivoire and the Republic of the Congo. Nigeria is particularly burdened by e-waste. Every year, over 1.1 million tons of e-waste stems into the country. Armed with these challenges, Waste Producers Responsibility Organization of Nigeria, they recently launched the V-Smart Training Manual in Lagos. According to them, the manual design is a national tool for training operators of e-waste collection centers, typically called formal collectors.
E-waste is a major issue, and essentially because of the composition, it contains a lot of hazardous substances that require specialized management. Unfortunately, that's not the case in our country.
Other stakeholders believe that it is not just a Nigerian problem. Of the 53.6 million metric tons of electronic waste produced globally,
we don't manufacture, we depend on second-hand, second-use products. You can't take that away from the system. Of course, it comes with its own disadvantage because why? A huge volume, of course, of this waste coming to Nigeria. Now, the next thing is for how will this waste be managed? Not just being managed in an environmentally sound way because of the hazardous nature of this chemical.
Global problem. I think in Nigeria there's two key challenges. One is that there's a substantial amount of unserviceable goods or poor quality goods entering the country, which is being regulated but is still a substantial problem. And in Nigeria, as well as in other developing countries, the infrastructure is not quite developed to handle the volumes of e-waste that are in circulation.
Collectors have called on the government to strengthen regulations, invest in recycling infrastructure, promote e-waste awareness, and also support formal e-waste recycling business in Nigeria.
This is another way the manual actually helps. It helps the general public to understand what e-waste is, how to dispose it, and the accredited collectors that need to come pick up the e-waste.
Much work is still needed in order to ensure responsible disposal of e-waste in Nigeria. The solution of Nigeria's electronic waste problem is not only dependent on an e-waste bill. Rather, recycling it properly is also the need of the hour.
Electronic waste is damaging the earth in several ways due to its improper disposal and mismanagement. Stakeholders in Nigeria believe that to mitigate the environmental damage caused by e-waste, it is essential to promote responsible recycling, safe disposal practices, and the development of sustainable electronics design and manufacturing processes. Encouraging consumers to recycle their electronic devices and supporting initiatives that promote the responsible management of e-waste can help reduce its impact on the earth. From Lagos, Nigeria, Louisa Olani, WION, World is One.